Saturday. Christmas comes early.
Unbelievable! Welcome to this incredible scene.
Bills.
To the end zone!
Chargers.
It's a touchdown!
An exclusive NFL game.
That's fantastic!
Live in primetime.
Wow!
Only on Peacock.
With a Christmas gift to their fans. They're having some fun now.
Bills versus Chargers. Saturday, 7:30 Eastern. Exclusively on Peacock.
This episode is brought to you by Google Pixel, the official fan phone of the NBA and WNBA. The new Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro are built different. How? Take the Audio Magic Eraser tool. It helps block out distracting crowd noise so your play-by-play commentary sounds crystal clear. The only phone engineered by Google brings out the audio you care about so your videos sound as crisp as they look. Learn more at googlestore.com/pixelnba. Audio Magic Eraser requires Google Photos app. May not work on all audio elements. Apple Gift Card is a practical gift that unlocks a world of entertainment and fun. You can send it via email or give a physical card to your loved ones. Your friends and family can spend it on their favorite Apple services, including Apple subscriptions. Apple Gift Card can be used to buy all things Apple. Products, accessories, apps, games, movies, TV shows, iCloud Plus, and more. Visit apple.com for details and to send Apple Gift Cards to your friends and family this holiday season.
Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of Vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
There are some who don't maybe think that you deserve that. And
no.
Whoa, who?
Cody.
Might be this guy named Cody. I don't know why he would think that.
Slander.
Tell me any player that's had more best 11 appearances than me. That's all, Cody. That's all I'm saying.
My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer, whiskey, wine or gin. Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another shade of blue from the KC Soccer Journal. My name is Cody Bradley. Thad Bell and Robert Russert are here. Please go subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. I don't do that enough. I don't like doing it, but we would appreciate it very much. We have a guest with us, a very famous guest. He's bumping elbows with celebrities now.
Who's that? Who's on the show?
Biiig Jimmy Conrad has joined us.
Oh, wow. It's me. You're talking about me. That's amazing. No, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Hey, Jimmy, I think I have an answer for this, because I've known you for quite a while, man.
Yes.
But are you leaning into the big star label, or are you kind of like staying humble, say no?
Oh, my. You know what? It's honestly like we're talking about somebody else that's doing all these fun things. And like, wow, look at that guy go. But, yeah, it's pretty surreal. I have been quite fortunate to be able to be on Ted Lasso and to go to big games around the world and to hang out with some really special people, both here domestically and abroad in the beautiful game. And I'm very grateful for those opportunities. What's interesting is when you scrape it all away, it's just because I worked a little bit harder than everybody else when I was a kid, which kind of propelled me into, achieving some things on the field, which is now kind of parlayed into taking those habits and disciplines in my second career and creating some opportunities. It's all really insane. And I've got my surfboard and I'm just riding the wave, boys, and we'll see. The wave's going to crash at some point, but I'll just go catch the next wave. So all is good.
I think the humble part that you're wearing a Wiz hat right now. I think that's the humble aspect.
Taste the rainbow, everybody. Let's get after it.
Yes, he's come back from bumping elbows with celebrities in Hollywood to his roots of Kansas City here. So I want to hear like a story from behind the scenes or something, but can you tell us quickly, like how did this even happen? How did you end up on Ted Lasso?
Okay. Yeah. Great question. So I had an opportunity to go to England to do some work with Ecolab, who are a sponsor of Minnesota United in particular, and are based in Minneapolis. So they sponsor all the Minnesota teams, but they also sponsor Manchester United. And they said, hey, do you want to come over and do some work with us around the Man United Liverpool game? Now, I've been to some big derbies, but I hadn't been to that one yet. And that's
Yeah.
one of the biggest in England, if not the biggest. It was at Old Trafford. Eric Ten Hag had just gotten the job. He hadn't had a win yet. They ended up winning that one 2-1. So I went over just for that purpose. And I was like, I'm here. I should probably extend my stay and see what else is cooking, in England. So Jesse Marsch had just won 3-0 against Chelsea with Leeds. Leeds is about an hour and a half away from Manchester United. I rented a car, as one does when you don't know what the hell you're doing on the wrong side of the road.
There you go.
And stay off the sidewalks if I'm driving over in England, everybody. But I will say that I reached out to Jesse. Perfect timing, of course, because they're coming off the biggest win, ultimately, of his career with Leeds. And I said, hey, would it be cool if I came and watched training? I hadn't talked to Jesse in a while. I was like, yeah, come on up. So I go up there. I catch training. He lets me sit in on the video meeting with the guys. So I've got like Brendan and Tyler and Jack Harrison, the guys I know, sitting right in front of me. We're watching their breakdown of whoever they're playing in the Carling Cup the next day. And I go to the game and Victor Orta, the sporting director, and it was incredible. They won that game too. So I actually picked the best week ever to be at Leeds. Jesse was great and very gracious and humble with his time, and I got to pepper him with questions about coaching for 30 to 45 minutes, which was a lot of fun. And then from there, so I should give you some context. So Brendan Hunt, who is Coach Beard, started following me on Twitter, and I sent him this DM like, hey man, I don't know if you know who I am, but
Slid in the DMs.
Yeah. Once he followed me, I thought that was a good sign that I could do it. So so I jumped in there and I said, I just introduced myself. He's like, I know exactly who the hell you are. I saw you playing the 2006 World Cup, you dummy. And it's like, oh, okay, well, cool. I don't have to act like anything that I'm not. I can just be myself. And so I said to him, hey, I'm going to be in England for a week. I'm going to be at the Manchester United Liverpool game. I'm going to be at the Leeds Cup game, and I'm going to be at Arsenal Fulham in London later in the week. I don't know where you're filming, Ted Lasso. I had no idea. But if you want to go catch a game, I'd love to just chill and hang out and get a beer with you. And he's like, yeah, great. I'm going to be at Arsenal Fulham. Let's just plan to meet up there. I said, sweet. So now fast forward to the Leeds game. After I'm getting home that night from the Leeds game back to my hotel, I get a DM from Brendan. He goes, hey, do you want to visit the set? He's like, you don't have to, but
Baby
if you
steps.
want. I was like, he's like, yeah, I could probably fit that. I could probably fit that in. So now I'm like rearranging my whole schedule to make sure that I can go and I go down to London and stay with a friend, Chris Mackey. Shout out to Mackey. And I end up going to the set. Now, here's the fun fact for you guys. If somebody says, hey, do you want to come onto the set? You don't want to get there right when they start, right? You want to be kind of cool, right? So they started at 9. And what time would you guys show up?
I would show up at 9. This is not a
you?
fashionably late situation, Jimmy. I would show up at 9. I would be responsible.
So my wife and I were like, I don't know. And I was talking to my buddy Mackie, like, what time do you show up? I didn't want to be there at 9. Like, they're just getting out of bed. They got to go to hair and makeup. Like, they're like going through their lines, getting ready for any scenes. I don't know. But I understand where you're coming from, and I respect that. I tried to get there at 11. Traffic was so bad, I got there at 1.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I got lost, as one does when you're driving in England on the wrong side of the road. And I ended up getting there around 1-ish, which was actually okay because it was right after they had lunch. And so I go, and it was amazing. I got to Chip Hamilton is their coordinating producer, an amazing human being. Saw Brendan, and they showed me all the sets, which was cool to kind of walk through the pub and Rebecca's office and all these things. And then they're like, hey, do you want to go watch them shoot a scene? I was like, yeah, I'd like to do that. So I went over there and I watched them shoot a scene from episode 10, which dropped last week. And it was very cool. And then I got to meet all the guys. And basically, Brendan set me up. He's like, ooh, tell him that time you played against Zidane. And all the guys are like, you played against Zidane? Ooh, tell him the time you switched jerseys with Andrea Pirlo in the World Cup. And they're like, whoa, you know. And so he.
Brendan was a fan.
Like yeah, he's a huge fan. And so he was so kind. So any of the energy and positivity you see off camera definitely exists, or on camera. It definitely exists off camera. And so they were so nice, and they loved all the stories that I had, and he did an amazing job of setting me up. What a gracious host, Brendan Hunt. What an amazing human being. And then at the end of the day, so I'm just sitting there bullshitting. I'm like, this is the best. And we're laughing. We're having fun. I'm getting those guys to laugh so much, they had to tell us to be quiet because they were shooting the scene. So I was in rare form, boys. And
I can see you're in rare form now. You're very excited about it. I love this.
I can't even believe it's real.
Yeah.
So then at the end of the day, they said, hey, do you want to be in a scene? I was like, yeah, goddamn right, I'd want to be in a scene. So I ended up getting to be in a scene, and I didn't tell anybody. One, because I had an NDA, right? I couldn't say anything at first, but then as time progressed, and it felt like, all right, this was shot in August, by the way. I started not to get loose-lipped with it, but I kind of told my family it's possible that maybe I'll be in episode 10. And then, but I thought I'm not going to go hype it up, because if I hype it up and then they cut that scene, I'm going to feel like a total a-hole.
Dangerous game.
So I didn't say anything, and I even went to the premiere down in LA, and the director Matt told me that I was going to be in. Still didn't believe him though, right? You got to see it, because they could still make an edit later. And I end up getting in, and I get my 1.5 seconds of fame, and it's like my new roll the clip. My initial roll the clip was my goal against Mexico, or my tackle against Messi. And now this is my new roll the clip. And honestly, my kids don't remember me playing, right? They have no recollection outside of what I force feed them down their throats, right? With all my highlights. But this, they're like, what, total street cred. Like I've gone way up in their books, and I'll take it. So thank you to Brendan and to Jason and everybody for this opportunity. Incredible. I will say though, the next day I did go to the Arsenal Fulham game. They invited me to go with them, and I got to go drink beers with Jason and Brendan and Chip and Joe Kelly, who's a showrunner, and watch Arsenal play. And that's what you won't see, but that was probably like just as cool. They're not in costume. They don't have to be on. They're just being regular dudes. And that was a big thrill for me as well.
KC
and I got to take a photo with Gunnar Source too, which was like next level, right? I mean, I was ticking a lot of boxes that week, boys. I just ticked a lot of boxes. And so you asked a question, and I ran with it and just talked for 5 minutes. And I appreciate you being on my podcast. So you guys are guests now on my podcast.
I actually qualified it with quickly beforehand. Also,
it doesn't exist with me. It doesn't exist with me.
No, it is without
you don't know Jimmy that well, Cody. You can run with it, man.
Listen. Bob Gansler once said that brevity is an art form that I have not yet mastered. And he is right. And he was right then, and he's right now. Brevity is not my thing.
It is without a doubt.
Give me a break, Jimmy. Bob Gansler did not achieve that either. Believe me. I know from firsthand experience.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt, the biggest celebrity appearance this season on Ted Lasso. There's no way they can top it.
I don't believe you, but I'll take it.
There's no way the very next episode comes out with an even bigger guest appearance. There's no possible way they could possibly.
Oh, it is possible actually, because I haven't seen it yet, but I know that there's a pretty big name in episode 11.
Yeah, no spoilers there. But.
No spoilers though.
So your kids don't roll their eyes when you start telling stories now, do they? Now they're like,
that's like instant. That is instant.
Oh, okay.
But with regard to Ted, they're very excited and very proud of their dad. Because all their friends just cannot believe it. Like my youngest, they're like, no, that's not your dad, and she's like, that's my dad. They don't believe now that that's her dad. And I'm like, we'll get him on the phone. Let's FaceTime. We'll tell them. We'll show them what's what. But
so it's only your wife rolling her eyes now.
Oh, all the time. She's proud of me, but like reluctantly proud of me. Like, oh my God, here we go again with this guy.
She may have heard the stories 1,000 times, right?
Oh yeah. She knows all the ins and outs, the highs and lows, the inflections in my voice. She knows what's coming.
Did you nail the confused look in one take? Was this one take? How many did you do?
We did 2 takes. I will say that. So I shot the opposite side. So I had Roy Kent staring me down.
I was gonna say, did you get
awesome.
in the moment? You had to actually see him doing his stride. Okay, cool.
He did. I had 3 or 4 takes of his kind of take just to get the pacing and the timing of his walk, less than like his facial reactions, because the guy's absolute money. Brett is absolute money at that stuff. But I think you peaked when you have Roy Kent staring you down, and at any point in your life, So no, I think I nailed that for him. So he could really feed off of me as an actor. And then for me, I got 2 takes, and ultimately I saw the facial reactions of the other 2 in the hallway. They're both contest winners. Ann and Kyle. Ann won it from the Big Slick. She won the auction to be in the show. She's great. I still talk to them because we have this like crazy shared life experience.
Yeah.
And then I saw their reactions when they shot their close-ups. I'm like, I'm not gonna do the same. So I ultimately mouthed, "What the F?" That's what I mouthed.
Yes, you did.
And they actually cut around me saying "what the," and they left kind of the F at the end.
Yeah.
So I did both takes the same way. Now, honestly, this is me nitpicking myself in this career achievement. That I wish I would have just kind of given a different just something different,
Different
than what
take,
we had.
huh?
That way they had a different option. But
The best actors all have the same thing. Don't worry.
you just
don't beat
you're
yourself
second
up.
guessing yourself. But as long as I get an IMDb page at this point, I think that's all that really matters. And my SAG card.
So next time, Jimmy, you can change it up a little bit.
Yeah. Hopefully, I can get another opportunity. Assuming this isn't the last season. You got to have a callback. Get JC back on the show.
Spinoff.
Spinoff, yeah.
No, it's a Wrexham appearance next time.
Wrexham. So fun fact, Ryan Reynolds started following me on Twitter.
Oh, man. He's looking at me
I was
Louie
like, what
today.
is happening? I sent him a DM. He hasn't responded, so I don't know if it's real.
Biiig Jimmy Conrad.
I know.
The holidays are a time to feel and create joy. And what could be more joyous than the look on her face as she unwraps a stunning new jewelry piece from Blue Nile? How about getting 50% off your purchase? Blue Nile offers premium quality, priced below traditional retail. Their online experts are available 24/7 to answer any questions and make sure you've picked the perfect gift. For a limited time, you can get 50% off at BlueNile.com. That's 50% off at BlueNile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Columbia Sportswear. It's snowing again, and that wind chill is killer. But you're not worried about that because you shop the Omni Heat Infinity Collection. It's warmth perfected with tiny gold dots that reflect your body heat inside and protect you from the cold outside. No snow or chilly temps can stop you now. Go out anyway. Shop the Omni Heat Infinity Collection now at Columbia.com/infinity.
All right, Jimmy. Well, hey, you're a busy guy. We know that. And in a week,
smoke and mirrors, Bob, but I appreciate that.
In a week, we've got TST coming up. So tell us about the tournament. And
so
give us some odds on your team winning.
I don't know if I can do that, man. That feels like, I'm who's that guy from Brentford? Ivan Toney. I'm not betting on my own team and stuff.
There you go.
Or betting against my team, I should say. Pete Rose style. No, he always bet with his team. Anyway, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. Sidebar. But I will say that that TST is exciting. So I got presented with this potential opportunity last year, probably October-ish. And it was pretty easy. I'm in. I knew that this was going to be a big deal. I don't know if it was going to be a big deal in year one, but I knew moving forward they were going to turn it into something special. They had already proven the concept with TBT, with the basketball side of it. 10 years in, all the games are on ESPN Plus. Super exciting, super awesome. So I knew the concept would work. So I got in, ultimately split it with DeMarcus Beasley. We shared some time together working with Fox Sports at Qatar in the World Cup. So we come together on this, and it's $1 million winner-take-all tournament. We got 30 teams. Clint Dempsey's got a team. Nick Raimondo, Mike McGee have a team.
Chad Johnson.
Garza has a team. Ocho Cinco, another pal of mine from the Fox Sports and Qatar group. He's on Cincinnati's team. They're in our group, actually. So that'll be a lot of fun to see Ocho. And, it's going to be interesting. I think I put together a pretty good team. We're building around Dwayne De Rosario, my former teammate at San Jose Earthquakes. And
good
obviously
choice, man. Good choice.
One of the best to ever do it. He's my oldest player on the team outside of myself. I more coach than player in this. Bees doesn't want to play at all. So I'm only in kind of in a pinch, but we got a lot of guys that so they're about 31, 32. Whoa. We got Zach Lloyd from FC Dallas. I was trying to kind of refrain because I know Dallas, we have a rich history from Kansas City perspective with the Dallas players. But you got a guy with some national team caps. You got to bring him in. He was excited to play for us, and he's been great. Chris Konopka, who played for us in Kansas City. I tried to get Boris Pardo, who's still playing in the Indoor Soccer League. He ended up going with another team. John Kempen was another goalkeeper I spoke to. I just went all Kansas City goalkeepers at some point. But Kempen had to back out because he's got like a real job now. I got Matt Beasler's little brother, Nick Beasler, right? I tried to ask Matt. I don't know. He's doing beer pong or whatever he's doing.
Chicken and pickle. Chicken and pickle is where he's at now.
Beer pong. I don't know what he's doing. But shout out to Matt Beasler for dedicating some of his book to me. Can I say for the record, I can't believe Matt Beasler wrote a book before I did. I thought I was really in line to be the first real author out there, given I had written for some outlets back in the day. But there you go, Matt Beasler trying to one-up me. Way to go, Bees. But I got a couple of Beeses with DeMarcus and Nick. We got a couple guys that are playing in the Indoor Soccer League and play for the U.S. Beach Soccer team, Ricardo Carvalho and Lucas Roque. Lucas was up for MVP this past year for the Baltimore Blast. So excited to have him in. Chandler Hoffman, Adam John. So we got some tanks up top. And we got a lot of hard workers. So you mix good hard workers with a couple talented players, and it reminds me of 2003 Kansas City where you had that and then Preki, right? So Dwayne De Rosario is the Preki of the group.
There it is.
And we're just trying to build around him and make sure that we play to his strengths because we know that he can win us some games.
Who else? Looking around, the rosters are all out. You can see all the other teams. Someone out there you're excited to play against? Who's getting an extra elbow in this tournament from you?
Well, what's interesting is the Clint Dempsey team is going in the same group as the AJ De La Garza team and the Mike McGee, Nick Raimondo team. Only 2 of those 3 are going to get through. So that's a bit of a shame. I want to see how the U.S. women do, of course.
Yeah.
Big fans of what they're doing. Heather O'Reilly, a great friend. So I'm curious to see how she does. When we get that, you got #United, who's a YouTube team that's now turned into a real team. They just got promoted, I think, to the 7th division in England. I've known Spencer and his family for a long time. And
Cool.
I played with #. Before. So they're in our group. So I'm excited already off the bat to play them. Ocho Cinco's in our group, but we got Hoist. If you remember him from he's the OG of MMA down in Brazil. He's got a whole bunch of futsalers in his team. That's our group. So we have a pretty solid, tough group. And we got to win that first game. We play Gracie SC. That's on June 1st. We play at noon. You can find all these games live on my YouTube channel. And then the bigger games will be on NBC Peacock, which has just been announced, which is very, very cool.
Go subscribe to Jimmy's YouTube channel.
Whatever. You know
and
what?
Then,
You
and
guys
then
don't-
also
you don't have
subscribe to ours.
Nah, you know what? Don't bother. Don't bother.
I'm looping it in with a self promotion here. So
They should
go subscribe
to what
both.
you are doing. But for me, don't you know what? Just unfollow. You can just unfollow, unsubscribe. Don't leave any comments. I don't want any of your engagement. No, but if we have a chance to play the Borussia Dortmunds, West Ham, Wrexham. I know that Cesc Fabregas is over with Como, I think. So,
oh wow!
So you have all these really interesting teams. West Ham's interesting because they got Carlton Cole playing, and they got some familiar names. But how fit are these legends really? Right?
Exactly.
That's what I want to know. And I think our median age skewers a little bit younger than most of the other teams, and so I'm excited about that possibility. And for the ones that are even younger than us, they might not have the same experience. So I feel like we're in that sweet spot. But again, getting back to your odds, I don't really know, man. I think year 1 is the best year to win this tournament because nobody really knows how to take advantage of the 7v7 with the field and the size of it, and also the size of the goals and the 20-minute halves, unlimited subs. Also, I should say, Cody, if your team's winning 2-1 after the 40 minutes is done, that's not the end of the game.
No.
It's you got to score 1 more than the highest score in this little extra time, the target score. So whoever gets the 3 first. Theoretically, since you're already up by 1, and you only need a goal to make that happen, then you should figure out a way to make that happen. But it gives me a chance to potentially get 2, and then I would win the game. So there's a lot of tactics and ideas and thoughts. There's no throw-ins, all kick-ins, so everything's kind of a set piece. So the teams that can kind of figure out how to manage a lot of that will obviously go a long way. And if we're even close to getting near the top of the table or going on to win it or be in the final, I mean, that is going to be some next level ish. And so I'm really excited about this. And from what I understand, the Barcelonas and Real Madrids and they've got a lot of big clubs ready for next year. So you got to win it this year, man, because once those guys start jumping in, it's going to get a little crazy.
Well, Jimmy, you've made it in life, from childhood on, obviously.
Biiig Jimmy Conrad.
So much so that you don't need follows from us. So, anyway, there are other KC alums, Davey Arnaud, Josh Wolf. You could go on farther and farther.
They're coaches.
Yeah. So what other KC alums' success are you maybe a little jealous of?
No. Jimmy's not jealous of anyone. Look at him.
Jealous.
He's in California. He's all tan. He's fit.
I would say admire. Let me just say admire.
There we go.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, Chris Klein being a vice president of a club after a year and a half after
gotta
retiring.
go there.
Odd timing.
Well, yeah.
Odd timing for Chris Klein.
I love it. Let's jump in on the Chris Klein stuff. So a year and
Great
a
guy.
half. Yeah, a year and a half after retiring, he's already a VP of a club. That sounds awesome. And then not really being held accountable for your team being kind of stucky, and you're still in the job. And then you break the rules and you still have a job. Sign me up for that.
You're right.
Where
Point.
does that exist?
Valid point.
What a job. That's a cushy job.
Only place he can go from there is politics.
Really? I mean, he's figured it out. I mean, he has got a nice breeding ground here with the Galaxy. So I'm kind of admiring from afar, how is this guy surviving in this job? And I saw him last week at the FIFA event in LA, and he looks healthy. He looks stressed, but healthy. but that's what I think about all the guys that get into the front office or coaching stuff. Man, they age quickly, and I love the coaching side of it. And I think at some point, once my kids get older, I will jump into that as well. But I'll already be old, so it won't look like I'm aging as much. But some of these guys, man, I feel bad for them. Yeah. But I love what Josh is doing at Austin, and obviously with Davey, it's very cool. I guess the guys that are visible. I mean, you also have to kind of admire the guys that have quietly disappeared and just going on to live their lives. I think there's some real value in that too.
You mentioned Preki earlier. I always thought it was quite humorous how, you and I talked at least once a week back in 2004 and beyond, pretty detailed stuff. And then Preki would always pull me over. All right, let me tell you what it's really like over here.
Yeah, I love that.
There's no question there.
Preki doesn't BS you there, right? I mean, he's pretty straightforward and even if he's not right per se, he's gonna stay with it. Yeah, so you gotta respect his stubbornness and
my kind of guy right there.
But I learned a lot from him. I actually learned a lot. I watched him coach a youth team one time. He's like, "Hey, come out and check out my U10s." I just happened to be coaching another team not too far away, so I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come check it out." And I was really fascinated by how he communicated to these kids, and demanding but warm. And I think there's a real sweet spot there that a lot of coaches haven't mastered. It's a real art form in terms of communication. And I still take a lot, honestly, from that hour session, I take a lot from what he did and how he did it. So I'm not surprised that he's been a successful coach, but I am surprised that he hasn't gotten more looks as the number one. But he seems to have found a nice little spot as a number two. So I hope that he continues to do well. Big fan of Preki.
Yeah, he'll
good at picking fights.
Coach.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Good at picking fights, sure.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe that's why he's not a great number one, because, as a number two, you get a little bit more freedom, I think, to keep your thoughts to yourself. Obviously, there's no microphone stuffed in front of your face, which maybe got him into trouble the first time. But I like his candidness, and I think that the league, when I think about MLS, could use more of that, because we need to create some villains, and I don't think he cares whether he's a villain or not.
So speaking of Klein maybe being a little bit stressed lately, looking at Sporting KC, there's been a little bit of stress lately. Peter Vermes has been under fire a lot lately.
What a transition.
How would you fix that team?
Oh, wow. How much time do we have? Pretty loaded question. I want to preface whatever I say about this current in-the-moment situation that I think Peter Vermes has revolutionized the game in the area. I think that he has convinced an ownership group to really buy in all the way. And that goes with infrastructure, that goes with buying players and taking risks. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. However, sometimes your biggest strength is also your biggest weakness. And I think the amount of control that he's had, once it wasn't going to work, and at some point, time was just going to evolve, and the game was going to evolve, or some things were going to evolve, or the perception of you or how the players receive you was going to evolve. And that's hard to stay fresh in that capacity, especially when he wears as many hats as he does. And so I think at this point, there might be time for a new voice. And I think maybe some fans would argue it should have happened a few years ago, and almost getting ahead of it. And that's what almost surprises me in some ways, that he hasn't seen that, because he's so good. And even as a player, his anticipatory skills were fantastic, right? He could read the tea leaves before anybody else could. And I feel like he just, because of pride, and I know him well enough to know that he wants to be the guy that fixes it. He's the guy that thinks he's the perfect person to fix it. And that's what's got him to this point. And that's what's got him such tremendous success, both as a player and as a coach. But there was going to be a point in this whole part of this evolution and this growth of Sporting Kansas City in particular, where it just wasn't going to work. And what was he going to do then? And that's where we are. And so now the team's playing a little bit better. We've had some evidence of that, though they just got slapped around by St. Louis. So,
we just ignore that one. That one doesn't count.
Well, it's just hard to know which version of it is it. You get Polito back. You got when Polito comes back, it opens up space for Johnny Russell and Daniel Shalloway to do more things and to have more time. Teams can't key on them as much. But we just saw from St. Louis's perspective that I don't even know if it's an attacking side of it. The attacking side seems okay. It's defensively it's so inconsistent.
And that's really, I know it frustrates
Peter, because I mean, what he can't play for the guys, right? And I think he's at that. I'm sure he's been like that for a few years. I can't. I'm trying to find solutions, and the solutions I'm finding just aren't good enough. Which then speaks to, well, put on the hat where you're scouting, or put on the hat where you're signing players. That isn't working then, or whatever it is. So there's got to be one part of the things that he's controlling that he might need to relinquish. And I just don't know which one he's going to go with, because I remember him as general manager or sporting director when Kurt Onalfo was in charge. And I could see him chomping at the bit to start coaching then, because he's like, he can already see what Kurt should be doing and Kurt wasn't, in his opinion. And so, when he took over, I don't think anybody was surprised with regard to that. But this is a unique position to find himself in. And it's unfortunate, because he's created a legacy that's going to live on for a very, very long time. And this is going to, at least it feels like this is starting to tarnish that legacy a little bit, which is got to be pretty disappointing for him.
It is rare for any coach to go out on top, though.
It is 100%. Yeah. There's only a rare few that are going to be afforded that opportunity. So I don't know where that stepping off point is, or where he's going to consider it. I know he just got a 5-year extension. I'm sure there's some stipulations involved there where, okay, I mean, the problem I have, if knowing him as well as I do, and it's probably not as well as obviously as you guys at this point, because I wasn't around him as much as you probably are, but I don't know if he'll be able to just be the sporting director. I just don't think he's either got to be controlling the team and give the sporting director to somebody else, and the scouting, and pass that on to somebody else, and just be held accountable for the wins and losses. Or I just don't see how he's going to relinquish that. I just think he'll just be too much. I don't know how he gets out of his own way. I just don't know how he does it. Given how strong of a personality he is, I just don't know how he does it. Right. So it's either got to be a completely clean break, or I don't know. But I wish him the best. Again, I know that we had a little bit of a, I don't know what the best word is here. I'm trying to be polite about the whole thing, but not the best ending to our relationship when I was player and he was coach. But we've worked through that through the years, and obviously time has softened a lot of that. But I still want the best for him, and obviously for the club and the fans.
Well, that passion for him and that passion for you is just hard to turn off. It's who you are,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
How do you as a player deal with stretches like this? The team, I think all of the players have seen themselves have success. They know that they are better than they've been playing. How do you deal with this as a player?
I would say you just got to focus, as cliche as this is.
It was a cliche question, so that's fair.
Well, that's fair. There was a phrase that Bob Gansler would say, and I've got a lot of Bob Gansler isms stuck in my brain. but just do the simple things perfect every time. Like, just get back to doing. Don't try to be anything more than you're not. Do your job. And when I played for Bruce Arena, I thought he was excellent at, here are the 3 things that I need you to do really well today. You focus on those 3 things, and everybody else does theirs, we're probably going to get a result. And I'm sure the guys are thinking that, and I'm sure Peter's saying something very similar. You have to actually go out there and execute on these things. And it just feels like guys are shutting off at the wrong time, or you potentially need a goalkeeper to make a big save in a big moment. Now, in fairness to any goalkeeper slander that's happening out there, and I shouldn't be saying this because I'm a center back, and
From me.
we always blame the goalkeepers before ourselves. But when I'm coaching now, I always tell my goalkeepers, who obviously don't have a lot of experience and are very vulnerable because none of the young kids really like to play, but if there's a goal given up, there's probably 3 or 4 mistakes that happened prior to whatever the shot was at that final moment. And so what are those being, what's being done to rectify that? What's the team shape look like? I'm a huge believer in team shape. And I think if you have good team shape on both sides of the ball, it'll solve about 90% of your problems. And I feel like in transition, once Kansas City turns the ball over, God, they just get punished. They just get absolutely punished. And it makes me wonder what's being talked about in that kind of phase of the game. And I'm sure this is where Peter's going to be like, dude, I'm telling this to my guys. Like, I've had conversations with the guys that I know that coach, like, you think we're not telling our guys that?
Right.
Of course they are. But it's just, but something's not connecting in whatever you're saying. So how do you rectify that? How do you, maybe you throw a player in there that maybe isn't as talented on one side of the ball or in one area, but is very good at that. Dude, roll that guy out and see what happens. And I'm sure that's happening too. And sometimes as a coach too, you're very loyal to certain players that have done that in the past, but aren't doing it as consistently as they are, as they once were.
Peter Vermes? No.
Well, that's every coach, but yeah, I mean, everybody's got their favorites, and it's tough. It's tough to watch some of your favorites get older and or just not perform as they were, and that's difficult. So I don't think there's one button that Kansas City can push to like rectify what's happening, but it seemed like they found a little bit of their way, and I really loved their game in Seattle, where it felt like there was this collective belief, which is an intangible. Right? There's just like, we're going to go out and kick Seattle's ass today. And we're going to try to go do something positive every single time we go forward. We're going to get a cross. We're going to get a shot. We're going to do something that's putting them on the back foot. And I felt like that was the game that I saw that for 90 minutes, where sometimes, we'll see it for a half, or we'll only see it for 30 minutes or whatever it may be. And then you see the St. Louis game. You're like, what happened to the team that played against Seattle? And so there's a real Jekyll and Hyde feel to the team this year. And that doesn't necessarily lend itself to success. Anyway, that's me going off on a tangent. To get back to your question, which is, Cody, what would I do as a player? It's holding. You have to hold guys accountable, and again, you have to kind of reinforce that do what you're good at, and we don't have to overdo anything. We got to find Johnny Russell where he can run at teams, right? We need to get Shalloway like running in behind, or just being dangerous by his runs and his energy and his enthusiasm. Shalloway loves to play. His enthusiasm's infectious. So how do we get him in good spots to really showcase that? Polito needs to get some service. Okay, good. How do we make that happen? And sometimes we're either playing too slow, or we're trying to hit that home run ball too soon. It's like finding that pacing. And so that's where I really feel like losing Ilie Sanchez was a big loss. I think he's a good guy at dictating flow, when to go fast, when to slow it down. And I don't think you've actually replaced his quality. Thanks for having me, everybody. Appreciate you.
All right.
The end of the show. Thanks for hit like and subscribe.
There you go.
No, you left us speechless there for a second.
He's a pro, the TV pro. The callback, you did the whole long answer, and then you just went right back to the question. He's a pro.
Yeah,
thank you, Cody. I appreciate it. You can be my publicist.
That could be part of why he's a sporting legend.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need, have coverage options to protect the things you value most, file a claim right on the State Farm mobile app, and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
So Jimmy, what did becoming a sporting legend mean to you? And there is a reason I asked this very specific question, because there are some who don't maybe think that you deserve that. And,
no.
Whoa, who?
Cody.
Might be this guy named Cody. I don't know why he would think that.
Slander.
Tell me any player that's had more best 11 appearances than me. That's all, Cody. That's all I'm saying.
I've never said a bad word about Jimmy Conrad in my life. No,
I will say that I thought I got it a little sooner than I had expected to become a sporting legend at age 38. I'm going in with Lamar Hunt, and Peter Vermes. I was like, one of these things is not like the other.
Okay, so let me just stop you right there.
I would just say that, like, I feel like you get that when you're like mid 50s.
There we go.
Not late 30s.
So,
but I'm not going to say no. Of course, I'm going to take that.
I am not taking away your sporting legend. You are clearly a sporting legend for the playing career and the postseason career. Staunch Kansas Cityan. I have made the point, though. I'm looking long into the future here. This league is going to keep expanding, keep growing, and if all goes according to plan, it'll be a top 5 league in the world at some point, right? And if that is the case, then every player on the field is going to be better than some of the names on the list. That's the point I'm making here.
I want that. I coach to hope that these kids are 10 times better than I ever was, which shouldn't be that hard. I will say that my talent wasn't traditional talent. My talent was commitment. And so if you want to use me as a sporting legend that walked on in college, didn't get drafted, and became captain of the national team and played in the World Cup, then I think I have a story that's just as good as anybody on that wall. And so I'm not even trying to get defensive about this, because I agree with you. I think I remember thinking it at the time, yo, Beasler and Zusi and these guys are going to have more games for the club at some point, which they have. You know, they're going to accomplish and have accomplished and played in World Cups and all that stuff, just like I have. And so at what point, what's the distinguishing factor between us and then anybody that's coming up?
Right.
I think you're laying a foundation for what it meant to get this team off the ground, to resonate with the community. And so I feel like I'm more of an intangible selection if I had to defend myself a little bit. But I do think I have a story that hopefully is more relatable than the ones that have just kind of been blessed with this incredible talent.
Yeah.
No,
your legend will grow. It's the same thing as like in baseball. I'm sorry, but Babe Ruth was a fat guy, and there's not the best baseball player of all time. And Clayton Kershaw would embarrass him. So that's all I mean here. You were a legend in your time, and even now, and even when the best player in the world plays for Sporting KC, you will belong on that wall.
And he'll know my name, and that's the best part about it.
Thad was trying to get me in trouble there.
No. I think that there probably will be some players that should be questioned in 30 years' time. Like,
can we get Chris Klein off of there? Wall? Chris Klein, can we get him off there? Come on.
Whoa! The slander stick. Cody's got the slander stick out.
There may be one up there I already questioned.
Hey, Chris, come over here. Guess who I got with me right now, Cody? Guess what I got? Chris Klein, everybody.
Let's bring him out.
Let's bring him out.
I think Thad and I have the same name. We're thinking of that should not be on there.
Say it. Name names.
Anyway, Josh Wolf.
Wow.
Yeah, we've said this on the show before. He's being shy in front of you, but Thad is normally not shy about Josh Wolf.
He's
fine.
He's doing a really good job with Austin. He's been a good coach. He was not one of my favorite players.
Okay, I respect it.
You haven't commented on his bobblehead.
I've just actually seen it right now. So when I do my interviews, I look at the camera. I don't look at I try not to look at the monitor. But now that I see it, that is one handsome bobblehead. I will say some bobbleheads don't really look like the person. They nailed my hair. I was like really like, wow, that was excellent. Because you see some bobbleheads like that does not look like the person.
They nailed the generic white guy. I'll tell you that.
That's it. I mean, let's say above average.
Okay, I think it looks more like you now than it did then.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Jimmy, you're aging well. You've got the Paul Rudd thing going on, man. California suits you.
Yes, I'm from California, so I'm back to my roots.
Yes.
But I appreciate you saying that. Again, Cody can be my publicist.
I'm working here.
I still exercise. The thing is, I still exercise kind of like I used to when I was a player, but I don't play anymore, and I eat a lot better. I'm a vegetarian now, and I'm very thoughtful about my diet and nutrition, and I think all that helps. So
you were always very mindful of that, though, when you played.
That's true, but a lot more now because, you know, as you guys know, when you get a little bit older, stuff hangs on to you a little bit more.
You'd be the last guy out there on the practice field doing yoga.
That's true. My yoga was good. You know what the yoga was good for me, and I would do it before games too, was I just was such, I don't know, yeah, I was anxious, right? And yoga it's yes, the stretching, and obviously it helps some fluidity and some flexibility in your body, but mainly it just helped me relax and breathe, right? And so I feel like I took some big steps in my career when I started adding yoga to my routine.
Yoga's great.
Hey, Jimmy, I'm going to piss Cody off here, but, you know, on the show, we like to piss Cody off because I'm going to go off script. So 2004 MLS Cup, I remember distinctly going into the locker room area, and you were standing at the locker room door, and you looked at me and said, "Was that a goddamn handball or not?"
Yeah.
So my question is that the thing still in your career that pisses you off the most, that handball by Aleko that wasn't called?
I mean, that's definitely one of them. I'll go, yes, that I still talk about it. It still fires me up. I get triggered very easily when I talk about Aleko. And Aleko knows that it was a handball, a cheater. And so and he won't admit it publicly to anybody. If I call him out, he'll just say, "No, it wasn't." But in person, I know he has told it to me. But there was the penalty that we gave up in the World Cup to Ghana, where they called it on Gooch for being a little bit taller than the little guy. That was like the worst penalty I maybe have ever seen, definitely in person. And so that one fires me up too. And obviously there was a lot at stake in that one, because if we get a win in that game, we go out to the round of 16. Not to say playing an MLS Cup final was a big deal too. What's interesting about that, there's a couple issues with that handball with Aleko, was that Davy Arnaud had a quick throw in. And Davy didn't take any throw-ins that whole season. But for that particular instance, he decided to throw it back to me quick, and then I was under pressure. And I thought, I'm not just going to lump it up the field. I'm just going to pop it up over Aleko's head, over to Jose Burciaga. And Aleko jumped, turned, and it hit his hands. And it went in, and he scored on a breakaway. And no VAR, none of that. VAR would have easily turned that around, in like 5 seconds. Right. And I remember getting validated after the game. Obviously, everybody told me it wasn't a handball. But Timmy Howard was with Manchester United at the time. And he said that Sir Alex Ferguson was watching the final. And he said that call was so bad, this is what Timmy told me, that he would have pulled his team off the field and stopped playing.
Wow.
And so I got validated.
That
by
is
Sir Alex
validation.
Ferguson. And so that is when I actually kind of came to grips with and at peace with it. Now, what pisses me off is that we let that one goal turn into two more over the next 10, 15 minutes. And that was something that I think we scored too early in that game. We had won so many 1-0 games in 2004 that when Jose Burciaga scored with 5 minutes in, I remember kind of thinking, God, we got to hold on to this for 85 minutes. Usually we have a 1-0 lead around the 60, 65th minute, somewhere around the Papa John's magic minutes. And then we go on to hold on to it for 15, 20 minutes. And so, the Zardmeister, we knew he had our back with that regard. It's some deep cuts for all you.
Yes, I love all of these references.
And so I feel like we were kind of on unfamiliar territory, and DC obviously took advantage of that through some absolutely terrible refereeing. So shout out to Michael Kennedy for being little and not paying attention to that one. I don't know. I don't know what his size had to do with anything. He just missed it. So what are you going to do? But it's on us for allowing that one goal to turn into two more. And we should have done a little bit better with that.
Yeah, it's easy when the ref blows a call like that, though, to kind of get down a little bit. Now, I knew that Cody was going to push back against you being a sporting legend. So I prepared, we've been trying to lean into the top 5 list kind of thing here. So I have a list of reasons why I think that you are a sporting legend.
That's got a top 5? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So number 5, you were a defender that was a scoring threat, and we have not really seen much of that over the last few years off of corner kicks. So
yes,
that is true.
Okay.
Heavily.
I was also defender of the year, so it's not like I was a chump.
No, you were.
But yes, in terms of a scoring threat, I was very good. I almost led the team in goals one season, and then Davey Arno scored 2 goals in the last game of the year against New England, and
the bastard.
Thad, you're cutting him short.
I had 6 goals in what was it? 2008, 2009, 2008.
Yeah, but that's actually a little.
Davey
sad
had 7. It is sad. But I was thrilled personally.
Yeah. Okay, number 4. You were a leader on the team. You mentored younger players. You taught Beasler the difference between pancakes and waffles.
I did. Very important. Ooh, I like the sound effects.
Pancakes and waffle. That is a very important thing for a young player.
It is.
Number 3, you were the first ever and maybe the only Sporting KC supermodel.
I'll take that. Yes. Air quotes around
still
super.
To this day.
Yeah.
Hold on. Wait a second. I'm still stuck on. Matt Beasler did not know the difference between a waffle and a pancake.
All right,
you can now tell Cody's the newbie.
Cody's out. You got to go find the commercial on YouTube.
No, I know. It's commercial. Yes. Okay. Go on. I was doing a thing.
And we were also giving you shit for it, Cody. So, yeah.
Yes.
Number 2.
All right. Number 2. You were one of the few Kansas City players called up to the national team that scored while you were with Sporting Kansas City or with the Wizards.
I'll take that.
And it was against Mexico, so that's like a bonus point.
That's like a bonus 100.
That I don't have your cadence down on these. You gotta give a cadence to these so I know.
No, I like the off-centered.
I'm just putting it right in the middle of when he's talking.
That's fine. The funniest moment that I've ever been at a Kansas City soccer practice, I think Jimmy probably knows where this is going. You were trying to do a promo. Hercules Gomez was behind you, taunting you, mocking you. This was all on camera. I think you took 25 minutes or something to do this promo, and the whole time you were standing there holding little Jimmy while doing this.
Oh,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
comes full circle.
Great photo. These are all Thad Bell specials.
And I'm going to give a bonus reason. You're the only player that has had a kid with the Kansas City Soccer Journal staff named after him. So
really?
Mike Kuhn.
That's right.
Oh.
Conrad, dude.
Yep.
Conrad Kuhn. Let's go.
Beautiful. That should have been on the
I'm
list.
I'm honored. I will say that you missed one that my mom was very proud of. I was named as the League Humanitarian of the Year in 2009.
There you go. That's how you become a legend.
Yeah. I used to love the people of Kansas City. I miss being around the people of Kansas City, and we tried to create a lot of special events.
Come back and do another pickup at the soccer
pickup
lot.
games. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Yeah, I got to come back soon. It's been awesome.
Okay, one top 5 straight to another. We'll let you get out of here, but we need your top 5 Sporting KC Wizards of all time.
Okay.
Put them on the spot. Oh no. Can you guys still hear me?
Am I gonna get hassled if I think if I put El Lobo, Josh Wolf in, Dad's gonna get mad at me. I will say number 1 has to be Preki. I think you have to go with number 1. Maybe you guys wanted me to go 5 up, but I'm gonna
go whatever order you want, man.
That's my top 5. I can do whatever I want. Okay,
Exactly.
So 1 is Preki, obviously league MVP with us in 2003. I think he's is he the club leader in goals and assists? He's got to be up there. And
Combined, I'm sure, yeah.
So obviously his impact on the game overall and what he did in the league and especially for Kansas City was pretty special. It's unfortunate we kind of won some trophies without him in 2004, but I think Preki, because he broke his leg, but I'll say Preki would be number 1. I want to just a shout out really quick for 2004. We were 3 goals away from winning the first treble in MLS history because we were tied for the Supporters Shield but had 2 less goals than the team that had it. And so that was the tiebreaker. And then we obviously lost by 1 goal in the MLS Cup final after winning the Open Cup. So imagine. We had a really special team. I don't think it gets talked about enough, but I'll say that. So Preki. I got Tony Miola, of course, one of the best to ever do it. I think single-handedly helped with Miklas Molnar win the 2000 MLS Cup and 2 World Cups, and what a special player, special guy. So Tony Miola is probably number 2. Is this like do I say this is like because I think Peter Vermes would be in the conversation, especially if you include his coaching and all the influence that I mentioned that he had before, as everybody knows. I think he's in there, but if it's just playing only, I don't know if he had enough of a stint.
Right.
Yeah, that's the hard part right there, man. As a player, he was really good, but I would not necessarily put him in as the top 5 for that.
Right. And then you have, Graham Zusi's got 8,000 appearances for Kansas City. So,
at every position.
At every position. So what do you do? What do you do with that? That's really tough. It's tough because I think when you think about Peter, when you think about Kleiner, when you think about Wolfie or anybody else that's been named as a sporting legend, you start to throw in all these other things that they've done. And Kerry Zavagnin would be another one. Mo Johnston,
there you
I guess
go,
would be thrown in there. Jimmy Nielsen. I think Kerry could be.
5.
Kerry's probably scraping 5. I'm trying to think who 3 or 4. I mean, you got to. I mean, I think. Roger Espinoza. I mean, these guys played in World Cups, and Zusi and Beasler.
Way too many qualifiers. I let it go off the rails. My computer restarted. Way too many qualifiers. I need a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Quit being so damn nice, Jimmy. Quit being so damn nice.
And it's a Kansas City best 5, not guys who played in the World Cup best 5.
I get that, but I think a World Cup validates that you were playing at a high level when you were representing Kansas City. That's all.
Right.
That's not. Get off my back.
I cannot believe how poorly timed that was. But Jimmy, thank you very much.
I've just been in a big. I'm friends with everybody, so I'm gonna mash it all up. But I'll have Preki 1 and Tony 2, and then everybody else is tied for 3rd. Suck it, haters.
23rd.
Suck it, Cody. I love you, Bob and Thad.
Okay, well, Jimmy, thank you very much for joining us, sir.
I appreciate you.
Right.
I can't wait to come back and see you guys in person.
Yes, next time you're here.
Hopefully that'll be soon. Taste the rainbow, everybody.
Either side don't seem so tough, and 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Supporters strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.